So at some point, someone's going to hook that up into, well, okay, now it's connected to an AWS account or an Azure account. Now it's connected to my email. Now it's connected to my social. Now it can go and sort of try and do things in the world. Maybe it's connected to my bank account. Maybe it's there's people that are very keen on basically it running a business on their behalf entirely. They just basically say instruction is make money, and here's my logins. Just do your best.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if that works, how does economics work after that? Because we've kind of got all these assumptions about how everything slots together in the global economy. And if that exists, it's all wrong. Everything we've based it on, it doesn't work. There's all these theories about, why prices should be set at certain levels because of intrinsic supply and demand. But supply and demand are now totally off because the supply of some things becomes infinite. So you would think the price should become zero.
Yeah, I tell you
what happens?
Adam Smith, the father of capitalism, he definitely didn't account for this.
Yeah, I know. We need a volume 2 to figure out what happens. But then, I mean, the thing is, economics, as even Adam Smith describes it, is the study of how people use scarce resources. So if the point of this all is to figure out how to allocate a fixed set of resources between people with various demands. But then if you don't have scarce resources, or a lot of resources suddenly aren't scarce, then maybe economics just isn't a study of that. That's just a whole different situation that economics has nothing to say about.
Yeah.
So basically, other than like air, there's really very few things that have been unlimited, and even then somewhat limited, and even then but so there's very few things that are totally free.
I've been grappling with this question, like what jobs will be necessary if we can just completely automate everything away, and how would that impact economy? Because there's 7 or 8 billion people on the planet. We're not going to just let the robots take our jobs, right? We've been scared of this in media forever. We're going to rebel, and then the robot police are going to beat our ass. So I've been trying to grapple with how is this? Have you do you play video games?
Yeah, very swans.
You ever played Detroit Become Human?
No.
So it goes over this not exact scenario, but it's it's kind of a role playing game where you have these different life paths or whatever, and it's a world filled with androids who are very human like. The only way you could tell that they're humans is they have this little light on the side of their head. That's obviously an android, right? And they're pretty much taking the entire job, all the jobs, and the humans are just treating them really badly. So they rebel and then kind of overthrow the government, and they're stronger than everybody and smarter than everybody. And it was like you play the androids and you kind of feel good, I just liberated the androids. But then you're like, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
But
because that does sound fun. But I mean, I guess the problem is, people are very scared of robots taking their jobs. But I think at some point we need to drill down and figure out what exactly is it that they don't want to be taken away from them. Because I don't think everyone loves their job to the point where they would do it for free. So at some level, what they're afraid of being taken away is money. But also some of it is something to do, some way of feeling valuable. Maybe that's a bit different to just if you just got the same money, but you didn't have to work for it. And then, but what else? What is it? I think we're going to have to do some serious philosophical work on what it really means to be human and what it is we want. Because the idea that we can't let it take our jobs, it's so we're just going to do all these things really inefficiently just so that it's humans doing them rather than a much better system that we just made. And, you know, there's all sorts of shortages of things that we're going to continue to have voluntarily because we just want things to stay the same. That doesn't seem like the answer. But what is the answer?
That's kind of, no one get offended, but that's kind of the way conservatives think. Like that, they want to conserve like just the old way of doing things, and they're kind of they aren't really like fond of change, or at least rapid change, right? So, you know,
and it's not, and it's not even a political. The political meaning of conservative. There's plenty of kind of traditionalist union types that don't want things to change either. There's there's opposition to change is not necessarily a political thing. I think it's a thing we all have to some degree, but it's a personality type as well. Some people are much more open and excited about seeing new things, and some people are much more scared about them. And I think it's actually manifesting at the moment because people will come up with reasons to do or not do something in AI. And you do wonder, to what extent is this kind of an intellectual exercise they've come to? And to what extent is this just their personality talking? Is it just people who are naturally excited about new things saying, I've logically figured out that it can't possibly be dangerous, which is where I've ended up. But I am person who's excited about new things, and I think I've logically figured out it can't be dangerous, but I'm also aware I could be tricking myself into that. And then there's other people who are scared of all change, and they're like, no, it will definitely kill us all, this thing, so we've got to stop it and ban it and stop it. And it's like, have you figured that out logically, or would you have felt that about any change?